"That's something," my dad grumbled. "How about you?" Louisa lead the way. She did it, and she did well. We only turned into the wrong street 3 times, and only drove by Kai's friend's house twice. I'm sure it only happened because it was already dark, and not because Louisa had explained or my dad understood something wrong. We got lucky and didn't have to ring the doorbell, because Kai's friend and his parents were just returning from a visit to the cinema. "You want to know where who lives? Wait, who are you?" Kai's friend seemed to visibly struggle to even remember that Kai existed, after we'd explained ourselves that voiced a question. He looked like he was still cruising the stars from the movie he'd just seen and had yet to return back to Earth. "Kai, we're looking for Kai. You know, the one guy that you play soccer with, the one you exchange shirts with after training. You know, the Kai that you called your best friend on your last birthday party." Louisa pulled up as many details as she remembered to get his memory back on track. "Oh, that Kai, you want to know where that Kai lives?" He repeated our question in a tone that made it sound like we had about 1,000 Kais in our school alone. "Exactly. We would be deeply grateful if you could help us out in that matter," my dad said, and it seemed like his nerves were a hair's width away from giving in. He really wanted to get going. We'd arrived late enough as it was, even if we just forgot about Kai and left Redar right this very second. And regardless of that, my dad usually avoided driving around at night in general. "All I know is that he moved to the main street," the boy shrugged. My dad shot me a questioning look. I knew the street, because it had a museum that we visited on a school trip once. It was a miserably long street. I relayed this information to my dad, silently wishing that I could have just told him that it was a mere little alley with maybe 4 houses. The main street just happened to be the plain opposite of that fantasy. Best I knew, it held about 200 house numbers. Who knocks shall be rewarded with an open door, and who seeks shall find what he's looking for. My dad recited the random quote to himself, most likely something biblical, to keep him from despairing completely. "But Dad, we can't knock on over 200 doors." We really couldn't. There was no way to check every single house for the meager chance that Kai's family actually had a bell sign or a mailbox with a name written on it. Knowing Kai's father, they probably had neither. "Oh wait," the boy exclaimed abruptly. "I just remembered something. Kai and my favorite soccer team had a really good win, and Kai decided to hang its banner out the window. Wait, it's got like blue, red, and yellow stripes. He even sent me a picture of it. And he complains about traffic noise literally all the time, meaning that his room is facing towards the street." But Dad let out a deep sigh. "That's something at last. Now we have a real chance of actually finding Kai before midnight." We thanked Kai's friend and disappeared from the sidewalk back into the car. Chapter 6, in which we continue struggling to leave Redau, only to come face to face with a near-apocalyptic disaster. "Can either of you guide me towards that main street then?" my dad asked, still wary and on the verge of desperation. "It's a bit difficult," I admitted. "Usually I'm on my bike, taking a few back ways instead of the main roads. What do you think? Can you fit your car through an 80 centimeters wide and 5 meters high alleyway?" "Not in one piece," my dad sighed once more, and we abstained from trying to use any of my usual rat runs. It was dark outside, and even the bright streetlights didn't help much. Until now, I'd only ever toured the town during the day. I sat quiet while my dad drove through the streets at random. Then I noticed a large building with multiple large stone pillars lining its entrance. "That's it, that's the museum," I called. "Good," my dad kept on sighing. "Now we've got a point of reference." We kept driving along the streets, intently scanning every window for a sign of the aforementioned banner. What can I say? We went through the entire street, up and down and up, 3 times until we finally found Kai's window. It didn't face the street front up, but was instead located at the side of the house. We only noticed the flag fitted to the inside of the window because the window was still brightly lit. We parked and got ready to disturb just another family's well-deserved evening peace. My stomach was growling at a concerning amount of decibels by now. I'd spent the last minutes intensely chewing on my fingernails, even though nothing even remotely noteworthy or even the tristle had stuck underneath. "Dad, I'm really hungry," I whined, taking the risk of genuinely annoying him with my repeated complaints. Later, he cut me short. "I'd really like to get Kai in the car first, or we'll arrive even later than we're going to anyway, and Janine's going to start worrying." Getting Kai out of his flat wasn't an issue at all. He'd forgotten to turn off the light in his room, and he and his parents played cards in the living room. His mother had thought ahead and packed Kai's luggage for tomorrow already. In fact, Kai left so smoothly and quickly that his mother had to call out the window after us. "Kai, you forgot your box of snack." "No worries," my dad answered Kai place. "We have an entire bag of food in the car, more than enough for all of us." And suddenly that horrible feeling that something was horribly amiss returned once more, though I still couldn't pinpoint just where it was coming from. Kai, Louise and I shared the backseat, just like during the last car ride. They immediately bombarded me with questions as to why we had to leave Rodau in the middle of the night, and I had a lot to explain and talk about. Meanwhile, my dad found a gas station and stopped there to refuel the car. The three of us were still preoccupied with our discussion when he returned. I just used up the last of our luck for tonight, he noted, shuffling back into the car. How so? I asked. Well, it's something that I just noticed, my dad explained, driving off the gas station property. I forgot my bag card and the money I had was just enough for the amount of fuel I tanked up. It looks like you have to live without getting an overpriced ice lolly or anything else from a rest stop or another gas station.